For the best meat you have ever eaten in your life, go to samsbutchershop.com. Enter the coupon code Triple T when you check out for a 10% discount. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am Trailer Trash Tim. Thank you for joining me on this wonderful Thursday, February the 8th, I believe it is. A lot of things going on, so let's get right into it. And I want to lead with this. Guess who has perhaps come to his senses a little bit? I don't know. That would be the governor of the land of fruits and nuts, Governor Gavin Newsom, who, of course, is the dream candidate of a lot of Democrats and a lot of Americans to run against President Trump in the November election, assuming they could do something to get Biden and his lackey, cackling Kamala Harris, out of the way. Now, you hear rumblings about Newsom. He's been making the tour. He's been going to different states, making speeches, all the while proclaiming he has no interest in being president. But he's a Democrat, which means he's pretty much a liar. You can't believe him. He's the nephew of Nancy Pelosi. He would love to be president, but I don't know if that's going to work out for him or not. You've got other potential players on the Democratic side in the mix, including, in my opinion, Michelle Obama, although she says she doesn't want it. Right now, as things stand, it's Biden, if he can make it. I've been posting on my Twitter account. Incidentally, remember, if you're on Twitter, X, you can follow me there. The link is down below. I try and remember to post there as I see things that may interest you. But it's going to be Biden as things stand right now. But I've posted a couple of videos of him speaking to the press, just utterly incoherent. This man can't string a sentence together to save his life. It's just embarrassing. It's sad. It's embarrassing. There's no way that the president of the United States should be this mentally incapacitated. Thus the appeal for many people of somebody like Gavin Newsom, who is all wet in terms of policy, but he is pretty. He is pretty, and he's more eloquent than Biden. Then again, my cat could rival Biden in terms of eloquence. But we've got a really big problem in the big city of Oakland, California, a big crime problem. And this article appeared in CNN Business. I almost never reference CNN, but this just happens to be where I found this as I was panning for gold on the old interwebs this morning. Rising crime, the headline reads, risks turning Oakland into a ghost town, and Newsom is sending in reinforcements. Violent crime and other felonies fell in 2023 in America's biggest cities. They increased in Oakland. Robberies grew 38% last year, 2023, in Oakland, according to police data. Burglaries increased 23%. Motor vehicle theft, 44% increase. Roughly one of every 30 Oakland residents had a car stolen last year. Can you believe that? One out of every 30 residents in Oakland, California in 2023 had their car stolen. That just boggles my mind. It's unbelievable. On Tuesday, the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, announced he was taking action. Well, you've got to. Deploying 120 California Highway Patrol officers to Oakland and the surrounding area to conduct a law enforcement surge operation. The aim, to crack down on crime, including vehicle theft, retail theft, and violent crime. Newsom said, quote, "What's happening in this beautiful city and surrounding area is alarming and unacceptable." And he's right. Now, there's two things that I want to say about this story. You're talking about a state in which, I don't know if it's Oakland proper or if it's San Francisco. You can help me down below in the comments. Which big city is it? I should have looked this up. Where if you steal from a merchant, up to $900, we're just going to let you go free. That's true. You can just walk into a merchant's store, steal $900, and nothing's going to happen to you. I saw another article where a merchant, I don't know where this was, but the man took every piece of his merchandise and he priced it at $901. When you picked up your merchandise and took it to the register, then he told you what the real price was. But you had to bring it to the register physically, and then he told you how much it was. But how pathetic is it that you've got to do something like that? So California is basically saying to criminals, come on in, it's a land rush. Well, now they're getting more than they bargained for with an excess of crime to the degree that Newsom says, all right, I got to do something. So I'm sending in 120 troopers to try and stop the criminals. The second point I want to make about that is simply this. Well, since good old Gavin, our boy Gavin, has discovered sending in more law enforcement is a good idea to combat crime, would the same not be true at the American border? Another example of doublespeak from Democrats. Another example of hypocrisy from Democrats. If more law enforcement is going to stem the tide of crime in Oakland, could you not also say that if we had more personnel on the Rio Grande River, maybe that would stem the tide, the illegal invasion of illegal immigrants? Or am I overthinking this? It's kind of like we can't put a wall on our border, but we can sure as heck put a wall around the White House because, we don't want any bad players to get in there. Right? So I applaud the governor for sending in law enforcement to stem the tide of crime in Oakland, California. But, Governor, why did it take you so long? Or are you not reaping what you have sown based on stunts like making $900 worth of shoplifting just A-OK? You're just going to turn the eye. What a pathetic thing is happening in California. It's such a beautiful state that has absolutely gone to pot because of terrible political leadership. It's completely run by Democrats in the governor's office and in the legislature, and this is what you get, folks. It's as simple as that. And, of course, we're going to get on a national scale as well. Speaking of a national scale, this appeared on another website I don't frequent, but I was panning for gold, trolling around the old internet, and I found this on CNBC, although there's probably other websites that would carry this. Get this. Joe Biden has a campaign war chest of $140 million. This really caught my eye. Joe Biden, the occupant of the White House, has a campaign war chest of $140 million, which begs the question, who the hell would give this man any money to run for re-election? Are you kidding me? You're actually going to write a check or use your credit card or however you do it to send this man money for his re-election effort? Do you know anybody who would send him money? Well, somebody's doing it. To the tune of $140 million. The article goes on to say that this war chest dwarfs the war chest of Republican rivals. I'm not going to read the article. I don't need to. That's all I need to know. But it begs the question, who is sending him this kind of money? Who wants Biden back in the White House? Think about this for a minute. Now, I'm sure there's some Americans that would send him money. I used to have a little old lady that lived next door to me at another location. She had a bumper sticker on her Mercedes. I'm ready for Hillary. This is back in 2016. I didn't know what to say to the woman. It's like, what's wrong with you? She was an example of people who will always vote the party line. They've done so their whole life. It doesn't matter who is running. They just vote straight D, or straight R for that matter, with putting no thought into it whatsoever. It's like you want to go to them and say, "What? How can you do this? Do you not understand what's going on? How can you send money to Joe Biden? What's the explanation for this?" Well, here it is. Let's say that I decided to run for Congress in my district. Okay? And let's say that the Acme Corporation, headquartered in my district, a billion-dollar corporation that makes widgets, they came to me one day, to my house one day, with a big briefcase full of cash. And they said, "Listen here, Mr. Potential Congressman Trailer Trash Tim. We want to give you money for your campaign war chest, but before we give you this briefcase full of money, we want to find out exactly how you're going to vote once you get into Congress, and whether or not your votes will be in alignment with our desires and our philosophy of governance." And if I'm like the typical Democrat, I would say, "You can leave the briefcase on my coffee table with a list of your demands, and I will be happy to accommodate you." That is how it works in Congress for the majority of the people there, and that is how it works with Joe Biden. The reason he's getting so much money is because he's doing the bidding of people who hate our country and want him to remain in power. It's as simple as that. It's the enemies of America who fund people like Joe Biden. I don't know where this money came from specifically, but I can tell you it's got the stink of George Soros all over it. It's got the stink of Big Pharma all over it. It's got the stink of Boeing and the defense contractors all over it, because if he'll do their bidding, they'll keep the cash flow coming. The spigots will be open. There's your answer. That's why Joe Biden has a $140 million war chest. He ain't got that much money because they love him. He's got that much money because he's doing their bidding. That's how that works. All right, let me move on. This is another outrageous story. This is also in oh no, I've already done that one. Here you go. This appeared in Newsweek. Let me make sure. I'm going to have to pause the video here in a minute because I just deleted a page I need to view. But the headline reads thusly: migrants' monthly payments are higher than New Yorkers' SNAP benefits. SNAP is an acronym standing for Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. It's food stamps, right? We used to call them food stamps. There are government programs. This is the SNAP program. It's intended to supplement the income of low-income Americans so that they can have funds to spend on food so that they won't go hungry, right? Now, I don't know how you feel about that. I got mixed feelings about it myself. I've never been on anything like this. I told somebody one time, I don't even know where you go to get this kind of stuff. I've always worked for a living. I've never been on any kind of government aid or benefit or whatsoever. The only check I'm ever going to get from the government, hopefully, is my Social Security check, but that's my money, right? I'm not looking for a handout or a freebie. I'm not against helping people, although I am more of a proponent of private charity. But here we go. The families in New York, hundreds of migrant families. Now, this is what bothers me about Newsweek. They use the delineation of migrants. Okay, these are not migrants. These are people. The story goes on to explain who this is, but it calls them migrant. They have migrated. These are like the busloads of people that Greg Abbott shipped to places like New York and Chicago. They are illegal aliens, folks. It's as simple as that. It's not like they showed up at Ellis Island and went through the immigration program, raised their hand and pledged their allegiance to their new country that they were proud to be a part of now. These are illegal aliens, illegal immigrants, if you wish. Hundreds of migrant families in New York City will be getting more food money than the city's low-income residents due from SNAP benefits. This Mayor Eric Adams, here we go again with this clown, the guy who has the chocolate administration. This is Chocolate City. Those are his words, by the way. I covered that a couple of days ago. The city is launching a new pilot program that will hand out prepaid debit cards to 500 migrant families with children, he announced on Monday. The mayor's office told Newsweek that the program allots about $12.52 per day per card each day, giving each recipient roughly $350 a month to spend on food and baby supplies. But this figure is more money than is allocated to legal residents of New York. Single households in New York are eligible to receive up to $291 per month, according to the state's website. SNAP benefits give low-income working people, senior citizens, the disabled, and others money to purchase food products, etc., etc., etc. Have you got this now? Legal residents of New York that are low income, they reach a particular threshold, they are eligible to receive SNAP benefits of $291. Illegal immigrants, thanks to Mayor Eric Adams, are now eligible to receive $350. So if you have broken the law and entered the country illegally, you get more money than a legal resident of New York. How backwards is this, folks? Now, I don't know how Eric Adams can just wave a magic wand and make this happen. I was under the assumption, and I know nothing about this, I grant you. I was under the assumption this was a federal program, so I don't know how Eric Adams can tweak the rules to give more money to illegal aliens than to his own legal citizens. But imagine for a moment you are a legal citizen, an American citizen living in New York City, and maybe you are. How would you like to find, and you're struggling every month to put food on your table or to keep your little baby in diapers or Gerber baby food or what have you. And now you find out one day that somebody who has broken the law and entered your nation and your city illegally is going to get more money than you get. How would you feel about that? Can you see where Democrats, they always play identity politics. They always pit this group against this group. They always pit people to. They always group people oftentimes by skin color. Democrats do that. Republicans don't do that. Identity politics. They're classic at doing this, all the while telling you that Republicans are racist and homophobes and all this other nonsense. But they are the ones who do this kind of stuff. They are the ones who pit classes of people against each other just so they can get your support. I will be right back. Okay, sorry about that. I lost my place. I had to regroup and recalculate things. I've got some pet news for you. How many of you are pet owners? I was never a pet owner in my life until about a year and a half ago. But anyway, and I got to tell you, we're having problems. I'm really struggling with asthma, and I'm afraid I know what the problem is. So I don't know what we're going to do about that. That's a problem. So got any advice, let me know. This headline is from a local website in Denver, Colorado, denver7.com, and it reads thusly: Colorado Pet Registry bill postponed indefinitely, days after being introduced following an intense backlash. Representative Regina English said her bill is postponed indefinitely. Less than a week after a bill that aimed to create an online pet registry in Colorado was introduced, the sponsor of the legislation said it has been postponed indefinitely. HB 24-1163 would have required pet owners to register their animal annually for a fee. It would cost $8.50 for pets that have a designated caregiver, $16 for dogs or cats that are not spayed or neutered with a designated caregiver, and $25 for pets without a designated caregiver. Okay, the long and short of this story is this. Only in the mind of a Democrat would it occur to you to tax Fido and Rover and Morris the cat. Because that's exactly what this is. This is just typical Democrat thinking. Whenever there's a problem, the answer to it is to issue a tax. Or even if there's not a problem, the answer is to make a tax and tax people for it. That's always the answer. That is always the answer. Never forget this. The Democrats' go-to answer for everything is to tax people, to tax the American people, especially you evil rich people. Especially you evil rich white people. You know what a rich person is in the mind of a Democrat? I'll tell you what it is. It's a person who has a job and pays taxes. That's who I've decided who the evil rich are. Democrats are fueled by envy of those who work hard, play by the rules, pay their taxes, try to grow their businesses and grow their own personal wealth. That's like showing the cross to Dracula to a Democrat. That's just, oh, you're not supposed to do that. You know, there was a time in this country where we would laud success. We wouldn't demonize it. We wouldn't be jealous of people or envious of people who had made it big. You'd celebrate that. That's the American dream, for heaven's sakes. It's a good thing. You know, my dad, when we were kids, he'd ride us around Sunday Drive after going to my grandmother's house. We'd look at Mr. Smith's house, a big Georgian mansion with the big pillars out front and like a southern plantation. And my dad would say, there's old man Smith. Boy, he really made it good. We weren't mad at him or jealous of him or envious of him. That was a good thing. He was successful. He had worked hard and he deserved all the things he had. That, folks, that used to be the way it was in America. We didn't demonize successful people. That was the American dream. That's how you want to do it. Get out, work hard, be industrious, save your money, invest wisely, and you can become wealthy in America. That's a good thing. Why demonize that? Instead of wasting your emotions and your energy on demonizing successful people, why don't you go out and try and emulate them? Wouldn't that be a better idea? But I share this story with you to give you the example of what Democrats do. I don't know if this is a problem in Colorado or not, but their go-to answer for everything is to tax it. No matter what the problem is, we've got to have more taxes. It never occurs to them to lower taxes. It never occurs to them to cut taxes. Are you kidding? A Democrat? Never. That's Colorado. That's typical Colorado. This is one of the two states thus far that have successfully taken Trump off of the ballot for the election this November. We got some really messed up states in America. Colorado, California, Maine, New York, all run by Democrats, folks. One more pet-related story, and this is really sad. This appeared in the New York Post, and the headline reads, Pet dogs traveling thousands of miles to U.S.-Mexico border are being abandoned by migrant owners in a new crisis. Faithful dogs are walking thousands of miles to the U.S.-Mexico border with their migrant owners, only to be abandoned in droves once there. Migrants trekking to the U.S. either bring their pets or pick animals up along the way without realizing animals are subject to strict rules for entry at the border. Pets are also not allowed into federal processing centers. causing many to ditch their dogs right there, leaving them to fend for themselves in the harsh conditions at the southern border. The Post spotted dozens of domestic breeds of dogs, now strays, wandering on both sides of the border at Eagle Pass, Texas this month. Many were simply abandoned like the piles of clothes, backpacks, shoes, and children's toys discarded all along the banks of the Rio Grande. Some were injured, many looked terrified and even flinched, even when just passing a bowl of water. Most were starving and reduced to scrounging for food wherever possible. You know who you can thank for this? That's right. The occupant of the White House, the man who has just opened up his arms and said to the world, come on in. Doesn't matter who you are, what your criminal record is, where you're coming from, we're open for business. Come on in. Come on in and help us continue the fundamental transformation of America. Hey, Joe, did you count on people abandoning their dogs at the border that are left behind to starve to death? We know you hate Americans. I guess you hate pets too. Is that right? It reminds me about their dog in the White House. They had to evict the president's dog from the White House because he kept biting everybody. Bad ownership, maybe. What a tragic tale. What a sad tale. This absolute disaster at our border now extends from humans to man's best friend and whatever pets that are down there. It's just sad. It's just a sad situation. We have got to get this clown out of the White House. Hey, give me your comments down below what we talked about today. I would appreciate that very much. A big thumbs up on this video if you would, please. There are links down below if you'd like to thank me for the content. If you find it valuable, you can thank me in some substantial way if you choose. Subscribe to our channel. You are invited to do that if you will. I would appreciate that very much. Come and join the growing Triple T community. Everybody go out there. Have a great Thursday. This is Trailer Trash Tim. I'll see you soon.